A lot of people think that Porygon 2 is the only Pokemon with a number in his name, but that's just not true. The first Pokemon to have a number in their name was Articuno, who has the word uno in his name, which is Spanish for one. If we take a look at the first card they made for him, we can see that it's nothing special, it's just a drawing of Articuno up against an abstract background. In spite of this, however, the drawing was deemed good enough to later be reused in the Legendary Collection expansion. Thankfully, Articuno would receive a much more detailed illustration in the next card they made, this time being pictured as using one of his ice attacks while flying through the sky. The Pokemon here is drawn using a light washed out blue, which contrasts very well against the gloomy purplish clouds and the vibrant yellow sunset. The final illustration of Articuno from the classic era Pokemon cards is my favorite Articuno card to date. The artist decided to portray the Pokemon sitting peacefully atop a mountain while gazing out across the sky. I'm rather fond of the way his tail is drawn here. It makes the Pokemon look much more elegant. It looks more like a decorative ribbon rather than it does an actual tail feather. What I like in particular about these illustrations is how different they all are from one another. It's the same Pokemon in all the cards, but they're each drawn in a somewhat unique way. When we take a look at the newer Articuno cards, we can see that they all look the same. There's no real difference between the Articuno seen in Legendary Treasures and the one seen in Roaring Skies. Nor is there one between the Sun and Moon promo Articuno or the one from Unbroken Bonds. Now, after looking at some of these modern cards, let's jump back to some of the older sets to see what they have to offer. You had this beautiful artwork of Articuno flying through a village in the mountains, the tall purple mountains and cool blue plumage contrasting with the white walls of the house and the pitch black sky in the background. If we take a look at Supreme Victors, we can see a card featuring Articuno drawn from a rather unorthodox perspective. But if we shift our focus to some of the secret rare cards from the set, we can find another unique Articuno card, this time drawn very simply with bold black lines, giving it a cartoon-like feel. If we take another look at the modern Articuno cards, we can see two that stand out above all the rest. The first is a promotional card featuring Galarian Articuno. While the way it's drawn isn't anything special, the aesthetic certainly is. The way the warm early light of dawn cuts through the wintry forest certainly makes this card noteworthy. The second standout card from recent years comes from the Journey Together expansion, and is again a full art illustration card. This time we can see a normal Articuno flying above an ocean. If you look at the sides of the card, you'll see that there are several crystals hidden amongst the frosted plants. The fact that this card is primarily made up of just blue and white is not something to be understated. It's amazing how much detail you're able to put into these cards with just a couple of colors. Cards like these show us that yes, while we do tend to get a lot of relatively boring art for Articuno nowadays, there's still room for truly unique illustrations to find their way into future card sets, bringing attention back to those certain Pokemon that have fallen through the cracks and lost their popularity throughout the years.